3D, helping out, helping others. 1. Warm up. Discuss. Do you know of any charities or organizations that help people? What are organizations? Groups that have a certain goal. Group of people who team up as a team and they have a certain goal, a purpose. Charities. Charities are organizations that help people. Help those who are in need. Poor people, sick people. Do you know any of them? Well, yes. Some of them are UNICEF and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Today's reading is about this Organization of Islamic Cooperation. How do they help? The UNICEF and this organization. How? What do they do? They raise money, they make money to help people who need it, give it to the poor, and offer food, shelter. Shelter is a place to stay. If you have no home, if you're homeless, they give you a place to stay. And they give you medical supplies, like medicines and stuff. Would you like to be a volunteer for a charity? Why? And why not? If you say yes, why yes? If you say no, why not? What is a volunteer? If you volunteer, you do a job for free. Like if you are a volunteer teacher, that means you teach students and you take no money. So would you like to do that? Well, yes. Well, I volunteered personally to make these videos for the students of Saudi Arabia for free, without money. And why would I do that? Because Allah has given me a lot. Allah has given me money, health, knowledge. And I feel that it is my duty, it is my responsibility to give back to the people who need this. Okay, I have something. I didn't earn this thing. No, Allah gave me this thing. So I want to give to the people. And you should do the same. Now, I will play a recording for you. I want you to listen and follow, okay?
3D. Helping out. 2. Read. Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, is a 57-state organization based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, with members from all around the Islamic world. Since 1969, it has helped the Islamic community through fundraising events, donations, charities and humanitarian programs. In addition, it supports Muslims in times of war or other emergencies such as natural disasters and helps those who are suffering from lack of medical care. Apart from that, the OIC educates people on how to deal with health problems and other dangers. In the countries of the Horn of Africa, such as Somalia and Kenya, more than 12 million people are affected by lack of food and water, as well as serious illnesses. In 2012, the OIC decided to ask the international community for help on the problem of Somalia and raised enough money to give food to 300 families every month. What is more, with the help of 32 non-governmental organizations, NGOs, the OIC managed to send doctors and nurses to treat patients to the biggest hospital in Mogadishu, Somalia. The OIC's member states, together with the United Nations and the Muslim NGOs, have managed to make a difference to the organization's dream, which is to make life better for the poor and the sick.
I've been a volunteer in Africa for many years. The situation here is extremely tough because some countries are in the middle of brutal civil wars. Many communities need our help and everyone has a right to medical care. We treat patients with very serious illnesses or injuries, but there are just too many. We can't really help everyone. It amazes me how strong people are and how they can still go around with smiles on their faces. Dr. Doug Willis, volunteer.
Okay, now is our turn. And before we start reading this, if you noticed, I highlighted some of these words using green boxes. And why is that? If you look at the vocabulary activity, this is 2, read. If you go to 3, vocabulary, you will find the same vocabulary words. This is why I want you to pay attention to these words as they will help you in the next video. Organization of Islamic cooperation. Cooperation is working with others to achieve a certain goal. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. What is OIC? It is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. O, organization. I, Islamic. C, cooperation. Is a 57 state, 57 countries. What countries? Well, to start with, we have Saudi Arabia, of course. We have Egypt, Bahrain, Afghanistan, and many other countries. This is where the center of this organization is. It's in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, with members, people and countries from all around the Islamic world. Since 1969, it has helped the Islamic community, the Islamic people and countries, through fundraising. Fundraising is the activity of collecting money in order to help the poor and those who are in need. Donations. Donations is money that is given to charity organizations. Charities and humanitarian programs. What is humanitarian? It is concerned with improving the life quality of people. Programs plan series of future events. In addition, it supports, it helps Muslims in times of war. War is the opposite of peace. When two countries are in hatred, they hate each other, they are fighting and killing each other. That is war. Or other emergencies. Emergencies are bad situations that need to be dealt with quickly. You can't delay them. Like, okay, I will do this later. No, if it's an emergency, you have to deal with it now. Like what? Emergencies like what? Such as natural disasters. What are natural disasters? Like earthquakes when the ground is shaking, or floods when there is water everywhere, and helps those who are suffering, who are in pain. Why are they in pain? From lack of medical care. They don't have enough. Maybe lack means they don't have at all, or maybe they have very little medical care. Medical care is like medicines and doctors. Apart from that, beside that, the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, educates. It teaches people on how to deal with, how to solve problems of health and other dangers. In countries of the Horn of Africa, what is the Horn of Africa? It's countries east of Africa. Many countries, like what? Like Somalia and Kenya. More than 12 million people are affected, are influenced, are touched by lack of food, no food, or very little food and water, as well as also serious illnesses. Serious, very bad. Illnesses like diseases, when you have flu, when you have fever, these are illnesses. In 2012, the OIC decided to ask the international community for help on the problem of Somalia, and they made enough money to give food to 300 families every month. What is more, beside that, with the help of 32 non-governmental organizations, non-governmental, not related to the government. Government is the system that controls countries. NGOs, they call themselves NGOs, N, non, G, governmental, O, organizations. The OIC managed succeeded in sending doctors and nurses to treat patients. Treat means give medical care. Treat, give medical care to patients. Patients, sick people. To the biggest hospital in Mogadishu, Somalia. The OIC's member states, together with the United Nations and the Muslims NGOs, have managed to make a difference. They have succeeded. These organizations, the OIC, the NGOs, and the United Nations, together they worked and they made a difference to the organization's dream, which is to make life better for the poor and the sick. Now, this is written by Dr. Doug Willis. This is his name. Who is this Dr. Doug Willis? He is a volunteer. He is a doctor. He is treating patients for free. He is not getting paid. Very good for him. I've been a volunteer in Africa for many years. The situation, what we are facing here, is extremely tough. Extremely to a far limit. Very tough, very hard. It's not easy. Why? Because some countries are in the middle of a brutal civil war. Okay, brutal is the opposite of humanitarian. It is very cruel. Civil war. What is a civil war? And how is it different from wars? Wars is fight between countries. Civil wars fight not between countries, no, between people from the same country. So people from the same country fight each other because each one of them wants to be the ruler, the king, or the president. Many communities need our help, and everyone has a right. Everyone deserves, everyone should have medical care. We treat patients with very serious illnesses or injuries. When you are hurt, when you have cuts in your bodies, when you have a broken leg or broken arm, that is an injury. But there are just too many. We can't help everybody because they are a lot. We can't really help everyone. You know, it amazes me. It is very surprising how people are strong here. They're very strong emotionally. All the pain, all the suffering, and how they can still go around with smiles on their faces. Even though there is brutal war and people are dying and getting injured, they are still able to walk with smiles. They still smile. They are very strong people. Okay, now let's answer the questions. Read again and answer the questions. 1. When was the OIC created? What year? It's right here. In 1969. 2. Why do people in Somalia and Kenya need help? Because they suffer from lack of food and water and serious illness. It's right here. People of Somalia and Kenya are affected by lack of food and water as well as serious illness. 3. What happened in 2012? The OIC decided to ask international community for help on the problem of Somalia. Let's read it in the text. Here it is. In 2012, the OIC asked for help from the international community to help Somalia. Okay. 4. What other organizations similar to OIC has OIC worked with? The NGOs and the United Nations. They together, all of them, made a difference. 5. Who is Doug Willis? Doug Willis is the volunteer, the one who wrote this. He's a doctor and he is helping patients. 6. Where has Dr. Doug Willis seen civil wars? In some countries in Africa. Why can't Dr. Doug Willis and his colleagues What do we mean by colleagues? Look, I am a teacher. I work in a school. The other teachers are my colleagues. Not necessarily my friends, no. It is just because we work together in the same school, then we become colleagues. So why can't they help all the people who are in need? Why not? Why don't they help everybody? Because there are too many patients. There are a lot of patients. Because there are too many patients. Too many of them. Word bank. I'll read. Repeat after me. Please don't stay shut. No, talk. Repeat after me. Charities. Organizations. Volunteer. Cooperation. State. Based. Members. Community. Fundraising. Donations. Humanitarian. Programs. Support. War. Emergencies. Natural disaster. Suffering. Lack. Medical care. Apart from that, educate. Deal with. Horn of Africa. Affected. Serious. Illnesses. Non-governmental. Managed. Treat. Patients. Situation. Extremely. Tough. Brutal. Civil wars. Right. Injuries. Strong. Colleagues. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please share it with friends. I will leave you now with the workbook exercises. Goodbye.